we're just about out of time. Final thoughts, words, John. Final thoughts, words, Yuval. Anything that we did not touch or that you want to name? That
I have this thought moving through my mind, and the thought is saying the story of no story. Not sure exactly what it means, but I'm sort of just wondering whether there's a story that's big enough for this moment that we could all, in some sense, connect with, that recognizes our common humanity in a certain way, and also our common dilemmas in a certain way, that is ethical and that would recognize suffering and the causes of suffering and liberate them to whatever degree we can in our individual actions and in organizing communities and institutions that actually function effectively in those kinds of ways. So, when I read a lot of the stuff about the AI, I worry about the world that my grandchildren will be growing up in and what they would even need to navigate that world or survive that world in a certain way. And I keep coming back to the analog. I kind of trust in something about this, as I said, 13.8 billion years of evolution where, our very blood, the hemoglobin, that heme is a fourfold porphyrin ring that has an iron atom in the middle of it, which comes from exploding supernova long before there was a solar system here. That's inside every one of our blood cells. The green outside in the trees is chlorophyll, which has the same porphyrin ring. It just evolved the same porphyrin rings, but billions of years earlier than animal life, and so before hemoglobin. And it has a magnesium atom at the center of that ring. And that's how we capture the sunlight from our star to give life to the planet Earth. So we are remarkable, miraculous beings in every way, shape, and form. And just the fact that we can wag our tongues, move the air, and our ears decode it, and you can follow this sentence, and I don't know where it's going to lead, and everybody else can follow it too. This is a kind of genius, a kind of remarkable capacity that we all have. And if we could learn, I think, through your analyses of history and of these information networks that go back in what you were talking about, the sort of the printing press, and then what happened with the witches and all of that everything has unforeseen consequences. And is there a way that we can kind of take something that we know to be, in some sense, liberative and help liberate ourselves in the ways that I think we are kind of in agreement really need to happen to some degree or other, sooner rather than later, that there's a certain degree of urgency, even if we're just talking about global warming without talking about war and, sort of everything else and AI.
Thank you.
So that would be
Yuval,
my
do you have any
final
final thoughts as we close this
Yeah,
section?
I think about the issue of a new story or the story of no story. So again, the simplest recommendation would be to try and go down to the level of the body. Because the minds in different places and are supercharged by the algorithms and the AIs, they are taking us in extremely different directions and creating more and more disunity.
Right.
And to stay together, the place to go is to go to the body. And thinking about the atoms in the blood and the iron and the magnesium, it's interesting to think that each of our bodies is made of atoms from all over the world. And from basically, statistically speaking, I think it's that from almost all the people who lived in the past.
Yeah.
Like statistically speaking, because we constantly breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, atoms, that there is a very high probability that each one of us in this room has a few atoms in our body, which were once part of Buddha's body.
Wow.
But also that were once part of Hitler's body.
Yeah. And Nehru
and everybody.
Yeah.
Because, just statistically, you throw all these atoms, you mix the atmosphere, you take back in, something comes. And the atoms have no memory. Unlike humans who go around carrying the history of the religion of their people on their back, the atoms are free. Like they don't care if they were once part of the mustache of Hitler or they were once part of the foot of Buddha. An oxygen atom is an oxygen atom, doing whatever they do. And with regard to no story, so no story is silence, which is where we began.
Which is wakeful, which is awareness.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Our time is up. Thank you, Yuval. Thank you, John. It's a pleasure. I hope you had I learned a lot, and I will go away with this feeling. I still use your children's book, The Unstoppable Us, that there's a power of humanity, and there's also a danger of humanity, and we're kind of coming up to this precipice that might lean one way or lean another way, and I can't control which way we lean, but it's just an honor to be here with the two of you and exploring how consciousness potentially might rise and might expand to meet the challenges of its time. And I'm excited.
And thank you, Soren, and the whole team here of Wisdom 2.0 for catalyzing and tending this conversation.
Yeah, so thank you.
And thank all of you as well. Thank you.